Thank you for purchasing one of my digital downloads. Here you'll find easy exercises that were created to increase your skill and confidence and help you become the kind of artist you want to be. These exercises are made up entirely from my imagination to show you how easy it is to simply imply detail with easy-to-paint brushstrokes instead of trying to record the whole story. I'll demonstrate this by painting simple organic flower forms that are designed to help you loosen up your painting style. It is very important to complete the suggested exercises quickly to avoid becoming too detail-oriented. Repeat them often until you are completely comfortable with the process, and in the doing, you will be on your way to becoming the kind of artist who creates works of art instead of one who merely paints pictures. So, let's get started.
I think you'll be amazed if you could retrain the way you think and you can begin seeing objects and elements as shapes instead of things. It's much easier to paint a simple shape than it is something that is in reality, like a rose or a lilac or the side of a barn or all the bricks on a house. This makes it very simple, and it's how I taught myself to become looser and freer with my brush, and helped me a lot to learn to mix color. So for instance, would you rather be able to paint something that looks like this? Or would you rather try to paint this? Now that's a pretty easy answer as far as I'm concerned, because look at all of the detail that you have to figure out how to paint. And then it becomes very realistic and doesn't leave much to the imagination. But this is what inspires us to want to paint. This is what we see when we go out into the world. And we are all wanting to be able to paint something that is that beautiful. But make it easy on yourself. Look at the outside lines. They're simple shapes, and it has a center. And then we can imply these petals. So this is all you're going to do, and I think anybody can make this shape. You don't even have to be a good drawer to do that. So what I'm going to do now is show you how to apply the color and use your brush with these and put the paint and the color inside these simple shapes. And this is just a plain white sheet of watercolor paper, and I'm just going to put some organic shapes, pretty simple. I'm going to put a center, and then I'm going to put another one. We don't want to take a lot of time on this. These are excellent ways to perfect your skills, using your paint, using your brushes, and getting in the habit of thinking about painting shapes instead of things. So we'll just do this very quickly, and what I used to do is set my kitchen timer so that I did not have the inclination to try to make everything perfect. So I would set my kitchen timer for 15 minutes, and I would say to myself, do not revisit a single stroke. And I would begin painting, and however it turns out is how it turns out. It doesn't matter. It's just an exercise, and if you do these regularly, you will be amazed at how quickly your art progresses. So we want to use at least 3 values, and I'm going to use alizarin crimson, and I'm going to show you how we're going to get all of our values within these shapes. We need to start light. It's so easy to start too dark, and then you have no place to go with your value. So here you go. That's a nice, about a 20% value. And all you do to increase that value is to add a little more pigment. And you just get thicker, less water, more pigment. And then we get a little darker. This is the same thing we're going to do right down here with this organic shape. Now I'm going to add a little more pigment, get my paint water to pigment ratio a little bit thicker. And now we have that. This is my challenge, is to be able to go from here to this very darkest. I'm going to add some dark paint to this alizarin crimson to get it really dark. That was Prussian blue. And I want to be able to go all the way to here. So this is the challenge, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start filling up these shapes with color at 20%, and I know that it's going to begin drying immediately. I'm going to have the sun strike it from the left. And don't worry, don't paint it like this, filling in the color, the outline like a coloring book. Use your brush creatively and put that paint on in broad strokes with a variety of different edges. And we're going to paint this one the same way. I'm trying to do this 20% value. And now we're going to lay in some sunshine really quickly. I have to do this right away before it gets too dry because I want this orange, warm orange, to move and disperse into the whole passage there. Now we're going to get a little darker. I've already got that mixed up here, and I'm going to put some value in. You see the nice, healthy, broad stroke. If you do this, you get a little nitpicky kind of look, so you don't want to do that. You want to have, if you study the principles and elements of design, you realize you've got to have large shapes, dominant shapes, medium shapes, and small shapes. So now we're going to add more pigment and get to this value here. And we'll put a center in now. And I'll get some more pigment. I'm working myself up to this really dark. Now we'll add some dark Prussian blue to this alizarin crimson. And we'll get some dark. This looks really easy, and it is once you've done it a lot. I've done it millions of times, so I should be doing this pretty well. If I'm not, well, then I need to practice some more. But this pigment will not stay dark if it's too wet, so it's all about your timing. You have to learn that, and the only way you can learn it is by doing. Now we're going to take our palette knife. And so this is the way I began the demonstration of the large bouquet, and we're going to put some line work in that will make it look like maybe this is some type of a floral. Now, if you want to go ahead and mix up some green on this little exercise and add some line work while this is wet, I can touch that, and it's going to really let that kind of bleed together. And so we want that variety of the soft and the hard edges. Now we'll put some leaves on there. I'll get some Quin Gold. You know, think outside the box when you're picking color. Just because the leaf is green doesn't mean you have to paint it green. You're wanting to be an artist, you know, and so you have to use your creative imagination to do that. Now we've got all of those values except for that darkest value. And the darkest value is what's going to make it really crispy, and it's going to make it pop. Without that, it is not quite as exciting. And I think you'll see it happening once I start with this liner brush. So I'm going to get some really heavy pigment. that's got a lot of water right there, so I can't really mix it up there, or it will just stay, it'll keep diluting. So I'm just going to make me a new spot right there, and I'm going to put a beautiful center in that. You want your brush strokes to show. So don't try to cover them up once you get them down. Let all of those irregularities be part of the painting. See, I'll get some value down below. Now we're going to embellish this rose with pure alizarin crimson. And this is how you get creative with your brush. You learn to use this brush so that you're really not even aware. Do you think about it when you do your signature? No, you just do it. That's how you want to become with this brush. And I'm going to show you an example of a boring line. That's not artistic at all. Now here's the opposite. Here's a creative line. Look at that. I've got large, medium, a dry brush. There's variety there. So that line is an artistic line. This is not. So you want to get to where you can use this brush creatively and start implying that maybe this is a rose. Now, by putting that dark value in there, that darker dark, then you added the pizzazz, the sparkle to the painting. And that's just how easy it is. You can go on and continue with that same approach to the leaves that you put on. It's fun to do these playful, I call it calligraphy as in art, not as in the alphabet or lettering. So do these, set your timer for 15 minutes, and I think you'll be amazed at how you progress.